Have you guys ever had this happen to you? Well, I have, and every time it happens, there's a run on the store for candles and flashlights. Well, I'm going to show you how to make a candle that'll burn for days, and it only costs pennies to make. What you're going to need is a can of shortening.
You probably already have some, but if you don't, shortening's very cheap.
Your container that you're going to make the candle out of. It can be glass or it can be a tin can. It only takes one candle to make several emergency candles. The first step in this process is we got to get some shortening softened up so that we can pour it into the candle containers. So we're just going to fill up this Pyrex dish.
For this project, you'll want to scoop out about 2 cups of shortening. Anything you don't use, you can pour back in the container later.
So we're going to make the candle in the tin can first, and obviously we can't put a tin can in the microwave. So I'm going to use a Pyrex dish to go ahead and soften up the margarine so that I can pour it into the can and not have any bubbles. Because if I just dish it in, there's going to be all kinds of air gaps. So let's put this in the microwave and soften it up. We don't want to get it too hot, just soft enough that we can get it into the tin can.
Every microwave is different. Mine's pretty powerful, so I'm going to put this in for a little over a minute and keep an eye on it so that it turns out about the consistency of a shake. The shortening's ready to use when it looks something like this. Now this will pour into the container without any air bubbles, and it should solidify into a nice solid chunk of shortening for the candle to slide into.
Now I don't want to fill it any taller than that. I want to leave room so that it doesn't spill over when we burn the candle. Now this is just a little too soupy to put our candle in, so I'm going to put it in the fridge for a few minutes just to make it stiffen up a little bit before we add our candle.
We'll leave it in here until the consistency is like a really thick malt.
Now while that's cooling down in the fridge, I'm going to show you how to measure the length of the candle that's going to go in this. So we have our jar right here. I'm simply going to put the candle in the jar. Let me hold that right there for you. And I'm going to mark it with a marker. Can you see that mark? Right there.
One of these cheap candles will make approximately 4 emergency candles. It's super easy to cut these cheap candles to any length. Just gently roll around with a sharp knife with downward pressure and it'll snap right at the length you want it to be.
Now we've got our candle cut to the right length for our glass jar. I'm going to go ahead and get some shortening in this, and we're going to get the candle in it. Now the difference between the tin can and the glass jar is I can actually put the shortening straight in the jar and put it in the microwave and get it to melt down and get the bubbles out of it. So that's what we're going to do right now. Let's get this thing going. Okay, I want to show you guys, see how that turned clear instead of white? Now that went just a little too far in the microwave, but it's not a problem. We're just going to let it cool down a little bit before we put the candle in it. It's been 15 minutes and I pulled the can out of the refrigerator. You can see that the Crisco is no longer liquefied. It's going to be strong enough to put the candle in. So I'm just going to measure the candle.
Simply follow the steps from earlier in the video, cut the candle to length, and now it's time to put it in the solidified shortening. And if you don't worry if you don't get it just right. You can kind of wiggle it around, twist it, and get it to the center, and you're set.
That's how simple it is to make an emergency candle out of a tin can and a candle, a little bit of shortening. Now we're going to get the glass jar out of the fridge here in a second, and we're going to do the same thing to it. Now just for a test, I'm going to light these tonight, and we're going to see which one puts off more light. All right, you guys, it's been about 10 minutes, and you can see the shortening solidified again enough that we can put the candle in it. All we're going to do is slide the candle down directly in the center until it bottoms out. All right, well there you have it. 2 different types of emergency candles, one in a can and one in a jar. I'm going to light them up tonight and see how much light they put off. All right, full disclosure, I couldn't wait till it got dark. I went ahead and came down to the basement in one of my bathrooms down here, and I want to show you how well these candles work. So let me turn the camera and show you how well they work in the dark. Well, there you go. I noticed that the glass candle put out a little more light and it has a little more volume, so it's probably going to burn longer. But the tin can candle, to me, seems safer. We don't have any glass to break, and I really don't have to worry about it too much. Now, I don't recommend that you leave these unattended, so be careful with that. I would also use a coaster underneath each one, and don't put it next to anything that's flammable. Hey, you guys, thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, please hit that like and subscribe button for me, and I'll see you on the next Ask Dad How.